Hello everyone! Today we have r/am I the butthole? And today's stories are really heartwarming. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I really want to get 150 subscribers as soon as possible. Am I the butthole for being annoyed that my wife allowed my brother to stay at our house? My brother lives with his girlfriend about an hour's drive away from me and my wife. My brother and I have never been close due to the age difference. He is 19 years younger than me, he is 20 and I am 39. Our parents had me young and that had him later in life. He was always the spoiled one who got whatever he wanted. We see each other on holidays and special occasions. But other than that, we might talk on the phone once or twice a month. Last night I had to work late and I could not be reached by phone. When I got off, I noticed that I had 2 missed calls from my brother and had a few from my wife. But it was already close to 11 p.m, so I chose just to drive home and not call and possibly wake someone up. I walk into the house and see my wife and brother on the couch playing Mario Kart. When I walk in, they both say hi and go back to their game. I went to the bedroom to shower and frankly, just sleep. I was exhausted. My wife comes in a few minutes later and I ask her why my brother was there. She said he called her because he and his girlfriend had gotten into a pretty heated argument and he just needed to get away from the situation for a little while he figured out what he was going to do. They only have one car and it's in the girlfriend's name, so he couldn't take it. Apparently, he tried to call me, and when I did not answer, he called her and she went and picked him up an hour away. Even though she hates driving at night, they also went out to dinner before coming home. I told her that I find it odd that she would pick up my brother and take him to dinner just because he got into an argument with his girlfriend, that he is an adult and needs to work it out. She just rolled her eyes at me and said he would be staying in the spare room as long as he needed, that I was acting weird, and that he's my brother and has no idea why it was such a huge deal if he was there. I told her that if someone is staying at my house, especially my family, I should be the one who decides that he had no right to call her, that he should have waited for me to call him back and would be talking to him in the morning. She told me to deal with it and grow up, and he was always welcome here. My wife is now mad at me and I am stuck with my brother in the house for who knows how long until he figures out his life. We already have 2 teens. I don't need another kid here. I stand by what I said. My brother doesn't need to be here, but my wife is still mad at me today. Am I the butthole for saying that she should not have picked up my brother and allowed him to stay at the house? I don't think just because I think at 18 a person should be out of the house and not rely on family to support them makes me a bad person. People need to grow up and be adults. I expect the same from my children. They are expected to have a job and save money to move out when they are 18 and graduated from high school. If they go to college, they can stay, but are expected to pay for it on their own and pay a small amount of rent. My wife doesn't agree with this and says they can stay as long as they need. I'm trying to make her see reason. As a kid, I was never taken to the zoo, museums, or out to eat. I was sent to a public school and not allowed to play sports or do activities because there was never money. I had to get a job as soon as I could. My parents were 16 when they had me. Even when they got older and had more money, I still did not get the opportunities that my brother was given. He got the best and I got nothing. It's time he stood on his own. Yes, my kids got to go to the zoo, park, museums, play sports, and attend activities. They get a lot of what I did not, but those are my kids, not my brother. I didn't see why my wife would take him along with her. My brother has always loved her like another mom, so I had to share her with my brother too. I got home from work last night when everybody was getting ready for dinner. After dinner, I told the kids to please go to their rooms so I could talk to my brother and wife. I asked my brother why he was there and why he felt the need to call us instead of working it out. He said that he just needed to get out of the house. He had found out that his girlfriend had cheated on him and she was planning on leaving. She blamed him for her cheating because he would marry her or have a baby with her, and that was what she really wanted. I said what she wanted was not unreasonable, that he was being immature, and if he could live with her, he could marry her. My wife said that not everyone wants to be married and have children that young. He is an adult. Grow up! I said I didn't appreciate them making decisions without me. This could have been sorted out the next morning. No one needed to drive 2 hours or run away from home. I asked when my brother planned on leaving. He talked to his girlfriend. She was moving out by Sunday. Then he would go home. He had 2 months left on a lease, so he was going to look for something smaller to move into. I said that I didn't like him staying that long. My wife said, he's your brother. A few days are not going to hurt anyone. I agreed just to stop the fight. I didn't like it, but I felt backed into a corner. I still think he needs to go home and deal with his own problems. My brother said, thanks, I appreciate it, and walked off. My wife and I talked some more, but neither of us is happy with one another. It feels like you are leaving a lot of information out because you have beef with your brother and you're not saying why. Because from my point of view, your wife sounds pretty reasonable and you sound like an offended child. Am I the butthole for bringing a generic product versus the name brand I was asked to bring? This seems so silly to me, but it became such a big deal, I have to ask. Last weekend, my girlfriend's family hosted a barbecue. I was always raised to never show up anywhere empty-handed, so I asked my girlfriend's mom what I could bring. She asked that I grab the Cool Whip for a dessert she was making. Easy enough. I figured it won't be hard to bring, so I decided to wait until morning off to grab it on my way there. Well, I get to the store about 20 minutes before the barbecue starts, and they're somehow out of the name brand. They did, however, have the store brand's whipped topping. As I didn't have time to go to another grocery store, I just brought the generic brand and headed off. Upon arrival, I hand the bag to my girlfriend's mom. She opens it, looks inside, and gets a weird look on her face. She asks where the Cool Whip is. I said the store was out, but this is pretty much the same thing, right? She looks a little irritated with me, but just tells me to make myself at home. As I'm putting my stuff down, I hear her asking her husband to run to the store and grab the Cool Whip. I cannot hear the entire conversation, but he must have asked didn't I bring it, because I then hear her say, I asked for one thing and he couldn't even deliver. Nothing else was said directly to me, but there were a few passive-aggressive remarks throughout the barbecue, such as when her husband arrived, name brand in hand, calling him her hero. And when the dessert was served, she again made a comment about how it's made with the real Cool Whip. I didn't want to make a scene, so I took it on the chin. When talking to my girlfriend about it later, she said that her mom was overdramatic, but I should have called her to ask if generic was okay, or could have gone to a different store. I asked if there was really a difference, and she said she doesn't know, but it was what I was asked to bring, so I should have communicated better. Again, this all sounds so stupid, but am I the butthole? No, you're not a butthole. What Cool Whip is made of anyway? Water, sugar, palm oil? So what is the difference on the name on the can? I just don't understand. Why can't people just buy a heavy cream and whip the cream themselves? Because it's cheaper, tastes better, and it's better for you. Am I the butthole for accepting a part in a play even though my boyfriend doesn't approve? I am 16 and I have been a part of my school's theater company since I was in middle school. Theater means a lot to me, and it's given me a community of silly, talented, amazing people that make up my core friend group. While they would get all the leads for each show, both at our school and local community theaters, I never got anything higher than an ensemble part or a part with a few lines. And it always hurt me a lot, because I would feel excluded. I've never let myself feel too discouraged by this, and I've been able to do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for shows I'm not a huge part of, like building sets, making props, and directing. This would always be super fun, but never as fun as being on stage and being a part of all the inside jokes my other friends would bring up outside of rehearsals. And this only added to me feeling excluded. Anyway, me and my friends all auditioned for a local teen production of Little Shop of Horrors last week, with 4 of us, including me, all auditioning for Audrey. We audition and I think I do pretty well, but part of me knows I won't get the part. Well, yesterday the cast list came out and to my surprise I got Audrey. I am so excited and still buzzing over the fact that I finally have a lead and one of my dream roles no less. All of my friends were extremely supportive and there was no tension among any of us over the results of the cast list. So I accepted the part right away before dancing around my room and going out for ice cream with my friends. When I got back, I texted my boyfriend over here, he's 17, about the news, expecting congratulations and excitement since he knows how big of a deal finally getting a lead is for me. But instead, he told me I should reject the part because I would have to kiss the guy playing Seymour and also genuinely act romantically around him on stage, and that makes him uncomfortable. The guy playing Seymour is one of my close friends I've known since 7th grade, and our relationship has always been purely platonic. He also has a boyfriend of his own. I can see how my boyfriend would be uncomfortable since I'd be acting romantically with someone who isn't him and with someone I'm pretty close to. I told him I already accepted my part and he left me on red. And I don't really know how I'm feeling at the moment. I'm hurt because he hasn't congratulated me, but I feel bad for potentially hurting him and accepting the part without talking to him about how it would affect our relationship. Am I the butthole for accepting the part? No, you're not. I know it can feel like a very big deal when you're 16, but later on, you will not really remember the guy, but you will always remember how much fun you had doing what you loved. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also watch that awesome video or this awesome playlist. See you next time!